Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Audacity, her eyes fixed on the massive view screen. The stars looked the same as they always did on Deep Space Patrol, cold, distant, and beautiful. She sipped her coffee, black with one sugar, and thought about home. Earth was 6 months behind them now, and some days the weight of being so far from the blue planet pressed on her more than others. "Captain, we're picking up something strange," said Officer Ben Wright, his fingers moving quickly over his control panel. "It's not matching any known signature." Lisa set down her mug and moved to his station. "Show me." The screen changed to display a pulsing light that shouldn't be there. It moved unlike any ship Lisa had seen before, not in straight lines or curves, but in a pattern that seemed almost like a dance. "Is it a malfunction?" she asked. Ben shook his head. "No, ma'am. 3 separate systems are tracking it. Whatever it is, it's real." Lisa tapped her communication badge. "All senior officers to the bridge immediately." She turned to the helmsman. "Keep our distance but maintain visual contact." Within minutes, the bridge filled with the Audacity's command team. Science Officer Maria Ellis was the first to speak after studying the readings. "It's definitely artificial, Captain, and the energy output suggests technology far beyond our own." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. Humanity had been searching for proof of alien life for centuries. They had found simple organisms on Mars and Europa, but never intelligence, never technology. "Are they scanning us?" she asked. Communications Officer Jake Davis nodded. "Yes, but it's like nothing I've ever seen." The scan passed through our shields like they weren't even there. As they watched, the strange ship changed course. It was heading directly toward them. "Yellow alert," Lisa ordered. "Raise shields, but weapons on standby only." The minutes crawled by as the alien vessel approached. It was beautiful, shaped like a spiral shell made of some shining material that seemed to change colors as it moved. "They're hailing us," Jake said suddenly. "But this can't be right. They're using our own communication protocols." Lisa straightened her uniform. On screen. The view screen flickered, and for the first time in human history, Earth made contact with an alien intelligence. The being that appeared had blue-gray skin, 4 arms, and large, gentle eyes that reminded Lisa of a deer's. "Greetings, vessel of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Krilltox of the Zephyrian Diplomatic Corps, representing the Galactic Council." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. "How do you know our language?" Lisa finally asked. The alien made a gesture that might have been a smile. "We have been observing your world for some time. Your broadcasts reach far into space. We find your television particularly informative." Lisa introduced herself and her crew, trying to maintain the dignity expected of a captain, while her mind raced with questions. "We have come to formally invite humanity to present itself before the Galactic Council," Krilltox continued. "Your species has reached a technological threshold that qualifies you for consideration as a member race." "There are others?" Maria asked, unable to contain herself. "How many?" "The Council currently consists of 17 sentient species," the ambassador replied, "each with their own worlds, cultures, and contributions to galactic knowledge." Over the next hours, the crew of the Audacity learned about a universe far more populated and organized than they had ever imagined. The Galactic Council had maintained peace among its members for over 2,000 years. They had laws, trade agreements, and shared technology. But as they exchanged information, something began to trouble the alien ambassador. "This music you play before battle," Krilltox said, examining the ship's cultural database. "These national anthems and war songs, they are quite unusual." Lisa didn't understand at first. "How so?" "No other council species has developed music specifically to enhance combat effectiveness," the ambassador explained. "The concept is concerning. The aliens had requested a complete cultural exchange, and the ship's AI had provided their entire database, including historical records of military marches, battle hymns, and the use of music in warfare from ancient drums to modern military ceremonies. "It's not just for war," Lisa tried to explain. "Music is central to human culture. We use it for celebrations, for sadness, for love. Yes, we have music too, Krilltalk said, but not music that makes one want to, how do you say it, charge into battle. When Krilltalks played Zephyrian music for them, the humans understood the difference. Alien music was mathematical, precise, beautiful, but entirely without the driving rhythms and emotional swells that characterized human compositions. News of the contact spread quickly back to Earth. Within days, the United Nations Security Council had appointed representatives to meet with the Galactic Council. President Alan Foster selected Admiral Ryan Winters, Earth's most decorated military officer, and Dr. Olivia Grant, the leading xenobiologist, to represent humanity's interests. Before they departed, President Foster gave them clear instructions. We're newcomers here. Be respectful, be honest, but protect Earth's independence. We won't submit to becoming a colony or protectorate. The journey to Proxima Centauri Station, where the Council maintained its headquarters, took 3 weeks. Aboard the Zephyrian ship, Admiral Winters spent the time studying Council laws and histories, looking for potential threats or opportunities. Dr. Grant focused on understanding the biology and cultures of the member species. Both were troubled by what they found. They've never had a major war between Council members, Winters told Grant one evening. Not in 2,000 years. Is that bad? Grant asked. It's unnatural, Winters replied. Either they're hiding something, or they're fundamentally different from us. Further study revealed that Council races resolved conflicts through elaborate negotiations and, when necessary, highly regulated competitions that never resulted in actual casualties. Meanwhile, the Council representatives were reviewing Earth's history with growing alarm. 20,000 recorded wars, the Arcturian delegate noted. How can any species survive such self-destruction? Perhaps we should reconsider this invitation, suggested the Moribund representative. They may bring violence to the Council, but others saw potential in humanity. Their adaptability is remarkable, argued the representative from Bellerophon, and they've developed technologies in centuries that took us millennia. As the Zephyrian ship approached Proxima Centauri Station, neither humans nor aliens realized that their differences would soon become critical to the survival of all. In the outer reaches of the galaxy, something ancient was stirring. The Void, heralds, a hive mind that had nearly destroyed the Council 5,000 years earlier, were awakening from their long dormancy. And the logical, ordered defense systems of the Council would prove useless against them. Only humanity's chaotic emotional approach to war, the very thing that concerned the Council, might save them all. Captain Lisa Morgan received new orders. Just as the Audacity was about to return to Earth, they were to remain in deep space as humanity's first line of defense while negotiations proceeded. I don't like this, she told her first officer as they reviewed their patrol route. It feels like we're being kept away from something important. She had no idea how right she was. Admiral Ryan Winters had faced many challenges in his long military career, but nothing prepared him for the sight of the Council chambers. The room was massive, with a high ceiling that showed the stars above through some kind of transparent material. 17 large thrones formed a half circle, each designed for a different alien body type. Some were built for beings twice the size of humans, while others seemed made for creatures smaller than a child. At his side, Dr. Olivia Grant whispered, "They're trying to intimidate us." Ryan nodded slightly. "It's working." The two humans wore their finest clothes. Ryan was in his formal military uniform with all his medals, and Olivia wore a simple but elegant blue suit. They looked very small as they walked to the center of the room. A tall, thin alien with skin like purple bark stood up. The Council recognizes the representatives of Earth. I am High Counselor Ziv of the Arcturians, and I will lead today's session. Ryan stepped forward. Thank you for inviting us. Earth is honored by this opportunity. The formal introductions took nearly an hour, as each Council member greeted them according to their own customs. Some bowed, others made strange sounds or gestures. The humans did their best to show proper respect to each one. Finally, the real meeting began. "We have reviewed your historical and cultural records," said Ziv. "We find much to admire in humanity. Your art, your literature, your persistence in the face of challenges. But we also find much that concerns us." A large, blob-like creature that seemed to float above its throne spoke next, its words translated through small devices in the human's ears. "You mean to tell us that your species has fought over 20,000 recorded wars among yourselves?" Ryan answered honestly. "Yes, and from each one we learned and grew stronger." A murmur ran through the council. Ryan could tell this was not the answer they wanted. "Do you see war as necessary, then?" asked a small, bird-like alien. Olivia stepped forward. "We see conflict as inevitable when intelligent beings have different needs and limited resources. We hope we've evolved beyond the worst of our violent past, but we don't pretend that we've eliminated it completely." The council members exchanged glances. Ryan could tell they were communicating in some way that the humans couldn't see or hear. "There is another matter," said a being made of what looked like liquid crystal. "Your music of war. We find it deeply troubling." "Music of war?" Olivia asked. "Your battle hymns, your marching songs, the sounds you create specifically to enhance your fighting abilities." The crystal being's voice sounded worried. "No other council species has developed such a thing." Ryan tried to explain. "Music helps humans coordinate and maintain courage. In difficult situations, it's not just for war. We use it for all kinds of activities." "Yet you admit its purpose in conflict," said Ziv. "We have analyzed your Ride of the Valkyries and your 1812 overture, with its weapons sounds incorporated into the music itself. These seem designed to glorify violence." Olivia shook her head. "They reflect our history and emotions, both good and bad. Art isn't always about the ideal. Sometimes it's about expressing the full range of human experience." The debate continued for hours. The council was clearly divided. Some members seemed interested in human creativity and adaptability. Others saw humans as too unpredictable and dangerous. Finally, the oldest member, Supreme Counselor Vax of the Andromedan Alliance, raised one of his 4 hands. The room fell silent immediately. "I have watched many species join our community," Vax said, his voice deep and slow. "Some seemed peaceful but became aggressive once they gained our technology. Others appeared violent, but learned our ways of harmony. We cannot judge humans by our standards alone." He looked directly at Ryan and Olivia with his large, ancient eyes. "We shall observe them more closely before deciding. The humans will be granted provisional status while we learn more about each other." The council session ended, and Ryan and Olivia were shown to their quarters in the diplomatic wing of the station. The rooms were comfortable but clearly designed with alien ideas of human needs. "What do you think?" Ryan asked once they were alone. "They're afraid of us," Olivia said. "Not because we're stronger, we're clearly not, but because they don't understand us." Ryan nodded. "And they're hiding something. Did you notice how they avoided any questions about conflicts with species outside the council?" That night, while Ryan slept, Olivia couldn't rest. Something about the council's reaction to human music bothered her. She decided to use the data terminal in her room to learn more about council history. Most information was restricted, but her scientific credentials gave her access to cultural and biological records. She searched for anything related to music and conflict. Hours later, she found something strange, a classified section about a species called the Void Heralds. The file was mostly blocked, but she could see that they had nearly destroyed the council 5,000 years earlier before mysteriously retreating to the edges of the galaxy. The one clear detail that stood out was a warning. Void Heralds show extreme negative response to ordered sound patterns. All ships must maintain sonic silence when in potential contact zones. Olivia sat back, her mind racing. Ordered sound patterns? Wasn't that exactly what music was? A soft chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. A small, insect-like being waited outside. "Dr. Grant, I am Kix, assistant to Counselor Vax." The Supreme Counselor requests your presence immediately. It is a matter of great urgency. Olivia followed Kix through empty corridors. The station's artificial day cycle was set to night, and most beings were resting. Vax was waiting in a small, plain room with no windows. He looked even older without the formal lighting of the council chamber. "Doctor," he said without greeting, "what do you know about the Void Heralds?" Olivia felt a chill. "Only what I just read in your database. That they attacked the council long ago." Vax's eyes narrowed. "And now you know why your war music disturbs us so deeply." "I don't understand." "The heralds are returning," Vax said. "Our outer sensors detected their movements 3 months ago. That is why we contacted Earth when we did. We needed to understand if you were potential allies, or if you would make the situation worse." He touched a control, and a holographic map appeared showing the galaxy. Red dots pulsed at the edges, slowly moving inward. "Tomorrow the full council will be told. But tonight, I needed to speak with you alone." Vax's voice grew quieter, "Because I believe humanity's unusual relationship with sound and conflict might be exactly what we need to survive what is coming." Olivia stared at the advancing red dots, understanding now why the council feared humanity's battle music, and why they might soon need it desperately. The emergency alarm woke everyone on Proxima Centauri Station. Its high-pitched tone echoed through every corridor and room. Admiral Ryan Winters was pulling on his uniform when Olivia burst into his quarters. "It's happening," she said. "The Void Heralds have attacked 3 council worlds simultaneously." Ryan followed her to the main council chamber. The room was in chaos. Alien representatives shouted in their various languages while holographic displays showed battles across the galaxy. The council's ships were being destroyed quickly and easily. "Their defense systems aren't working," Ryan said, watching the patterns of the battle. Olivia nodded. "The council fights with logic and patterns. Every ship follows exact formations. But look at the heralds. The enemy ships moved in strange, unpredictable ways. They seemed to change direction randomly, making it impossible for the council's targeting systems to lock onto them." High Counselor Ziv noticed the humans and approached them. His purple bark-like skin looked paler than before. "This is not your battle," he said. "We have arranged transport to return you to Earth." Ryan stood, straighter. "With respect, Counselor, I believe we can help." "How? Your technology is centuries behind ours." "It's not about technology," Olivia cut in. "It's about approach. Your ships move in perfect formations. The heralds seem to know exactly what you'll do next." Ryan added, "Humans have been fighting unpredictable enemies for thousands of years. We understand chaos in battle. Let us contact our ships." Ziv hesitated, then nodded. "We have nothing to lose. The Beryllian system has already fallen. Millions dead." Within minutes, Ryan was speaking with Earth Command. The human fleet was small, only 12 ships were in range to help, but President Foster immediately agreed to send them. "The Audacity is closest," the communications officer told Ryan. "Captain Morgan can be there in 6 hours using the jump coordinates you sent." While they waited, the news got worse. A 4th council world fell to the heralds. Their attacks were getting faster and more coordinated. Supreme Counselor Vax joined Ryan and Olivia in the tactical room. "I've convinced the council to give your ships full access to our defense network," he said. "But many doubt that 12 human vessels can make any difference." Ryan smiled grimly. "It's not the number of ships. It's how we use them." When the Audacity and 11 other Earthships arrived, they were given a simple mission: protect Bellerophon, the next world in the Herald's path. Captain Lisa Morgan received the orders directly from Admiral Winters. "This is Operation Valkyrie," he told her. "You know what to do." Lisa gathered her crew. "We're facing an enemy that defeats the Council by predicting their logical battle patterns. We need to be what humans have always been best at: creative and unpredictable." She turned to her communications officer. "Prepare the special package. All ships in the fleet will synchronize their movements to our broadcast." As the Void Herald, Ships appeared near Bellerophon. They encountered something new. The human ships were arranged in a loose formation, seemingly random, and they were broadcasting something strange. Across all frequencies, Richard Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries played at full volume. As the music swelled, the human ships began to move, their patterns matching the rise and fall of the music. The heralds hesitated. Their ships slowed as if confused. "They're trying to analyze our pattern," Lisa said. "But there isn't one they can predict. We're following the music, not logic." When the music reached its first climax, all 12 human ships attacked at once from different directions. They scored direct hits on 3 herald vessels. On Proxima Centauri Station, the council members watched in amazement. "What are they doing?" asked a small bird-like counselor. "They're dancing," Olivia said, "fighting to the rhythm of the music." As the battle continued, the humans changed their music. Gustav Holst's Mars, the Bringer of War, now thundered through space. The human ships changed their movements to match the new tempo and feeling. The heralds couldn't adapt. Their ships began to retreat. "It's working," Ryan said, watching the display. "They can't predict what we'll do next because we're not following logical battle computers. We're following music, mathematics combined with human emotion and instinct. For the first time since the attacks began, a council world was successfully defended. The human ships had losses. 3 vessels badly damaged, with the Audacity taking the worst hit. But Bellerophon was safe." In the days that followed, the council had to accept that their advanced technology wasn't enough. They needed human unpredictability. Commander Sam Kelly from the human ship Defiance set up a new command center on Proxima Centauri Station. There he began teaching council military officers something they had never considered: how to fight to music. "The tempo sets your pace," he explained to a group of alien captains. "The crescendos tell you when to press the attack. The mood tells you whether to be cautious or bold." Many council species struggled with the concept. Their minds worked differently from humans. They couldn't feel the music the way humans did. Lieutenant Amy Cruz found a solution. "We'll create mixed crews," she suggested. "Put human commanders on council ships. They can feel the music and guide your crews." At the same time, Dr. Grant was studying everything she could find about the Void Heralds. In ancient records, she discovered something important. "They're not evil," she told Ryan and the Supreme Counselor. "They're frightened." "Frightened?" Bax asked. "They've destroyed 4 worlds." "Yes, but look at this." Olivia showed them images of herald communication patterns. "Their society is based on randomness and diversity. They see the Council's order and logic as a threat to life itself. They attack because they believe you'll force all species to become the same." Ryan understood. "They see the Council as a force for homogenization." "Exactly," Olivia said. "And what do humans represent? Chaos within order. We have rules and structures, but we value individual expression and creativity." On the military front, the Human Council Alliance was holding the line, but just barely. Every day brought new herald attacks. The human approach worked, but there weren't enough humans to command all the ships needed. Captain Joe Reeves of the Defiance proposed a new idea. If the heralds respond negatively to council order and positively to human chaos, maybe we can communicate with them through music. "You want to talk to them?" asked Ziv, shocked. "They've killed millions." "So did we in our own wars," Joe replied. "But we found ways to make peace. We need to try." With council permission, Joe began a risky plan. Instead of battle music, human ships near the Herald fleet started broadcasting something different: jazz improvisations, classical symphonies, and indigenous music from Earth's many cultures. Music that showed order within chaos, structure within freedom. To everyone's surprise, the Herald ship stopped advancing. For 3 days, the galaxy held its breath. The Herald ships remained motionless at the edge of council space. They weren't attacking, but they weren't leaving either. They seemed to be listening to the music that humanity was broadcasting. On Proxima Centauri Station, the council debated what to do next. Many members wanted to use this pause to build up defenses and prepare for the next attack. Others supported Captain Joe Reeves's plan to try to communicate with the heralds. "We should strike now while they're confused," said the Arcturian representative. "Destroy as many of their ships as possible." "And then what?" asked Joe. "They have thousands more. We can't win a war of elimination." Supreme Counselor Vax nodded. "Captain Reeves is right. In 5,000 years, no species has ever communicated with the heralds. This may be our only chance." Dr. Olivia Grant had been working non-stop, studying the herald's response to different types of music. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a display. "When we play highly structured music like Bach, they move away slightly. When we play jazz or improvisational pieces, they move closer." "They prefer chaos to order," Admiral Winters said. "Just like we thought." "Not exactly," Olivia corrected. "They respond best to music that balances both structure with room for individual expression. Human music is unique because it has mathematical patterns but also emotional elements that create controlled unpredictability." The Council gave permission for the next step: direct contact. A small team would approach the Herald mothership in Tito 9, a shuttle. They would bring no weapons, only communication equipment specially designed to translate musical patterns into whatever form the heralds might understand. Dr. Grant would lead the team, along with Captain Reeves and 2 council scientists, who specialized in communication with unusual life forms. Everyone knew it was dangerous, but they had run out of other options. As their shuttle approached the massive herald ship, Olivia felt both fear and excitement. No one had ever been this close to a herald vessel and survived to tell about it. "Broadcasting on all frequencies," Joe said. "We're mixing Earth music with mathematical sequences that should tell them we want to communicate." The herald ship was unlike anything they had seen before. It wasn't made of metal or any material they recognized. It seemed to shift and change as they watched, never keeping the same shape for more than a few seconds. Suddenly, a beam of light reached out from the herald ship and surrounded their shuttle. Everyone tensed, expecting to be destroyed. Instead, the shuttle was gently pulled toward the larger vessel. "I think," Olivia said slowly, "they're inviting us in." Inside the herald ship, the human council team discovered something amazing. The heralds communicated entirely through sound waves, a form of music far more complex than anything humans had created, but recognizable to them in principle. The council scientists had always thought herald communications were just noise because they followed no logical pattern. But to human ears trained to find beauty in the balance between order and chaos, the herald sounds were clearly a form of music. "They're singing," Olivia whispered. "Their whole civilization is built on song." At the center of the ship, they met what they would later call Herald Prime, a massive being that seemed to be made of vibrating strings, like a living instrument. When it communicated, the sounds it made formed complex patterns that the human-designed translator began to decode. The message was simple but profound. "You sing with both order and freedom." "None have done this before," Olivia responded through the translator, turning her words into musical patterns. "We are humans. We want to understand you, not destroy you." Over the next several hours, a strange conversation took place. Part music, part mathematics, part emotion. The heralds explained that they had retreated 5,000 years ago because the council races were too rigid, too logical. They feared that if the council continued to expand, all creativity in the galaxy would be lost. "We attack not from hate." Herald Prime's message translated. "We attack from fear that all will become one pattern, one song endlessly repeated." Joe asked the question everyone wanted answered. Why return now after so long? The answer chilled them. Council grows, soon too big to stop. Must act now, or diversity dies forever. Olivia saw her opportunity. Humans are new to the Council. We bring chaos and creativity with us. We can ensure that the Council values diversity. On Proxima Centauri Station, Admiral Winters and Supreme Counselor Vax waited anxiously for news. When the shuttle finally returned, they weren't prepared for what they heard. "The heralds will talk," Olivia announced to the assembled council. They want peace, not war, but only if the council changes. Changes how? Asked High Counselor Ziv. You must embrace diversity, rather than just tolerating it, Joe explained. The heralds believe the council forces all member species to become more alike over time, following the same logical patterns. Admiral Winters stepped forward. They're not entirely wrong. Even in the short time we've been here, you've tried to make us more like you, more logical, more predictable. The debate that followed lasted for days. Some council members refused to consider changing systems that had worked for thousands of years. Others saw the wisdom in what the humans and heralds proposed. In the end, it was Supreme Counselor Vax who found the solution. Perhaps, he said, we need a new position on the council, a representative for creativity and diversity who ensures we never become too uniform. A herald representative? Asked Ziv, shocked. No, said Vax, a human one. While the negotiations continued, something unexpected happened. The human ships began broadcasting concerts for both council members and herald ships. These weren't battle songs now, but Earth's greatest musical achievements. Everything from classical masterpieces to jazz, from traditional folk songs to modern compositions. Council engineers working with human musicians created new instruments that could play music in ways both species could appreciate. Herald sound shapers began to collaborate with human composers to create entirely new forms of music that combined their different approaches. Dr. Grant discovered that most council species had once had their own musical traditions, but these had been gradually replaced by logical sound patterns as they joined the council culture. Now inspired by Earth's example, they began to rediscover their own unique musical heritage. On the 5th day of negotiations, a message came from Herald Prime directly to the council chamber. We have heard enough. We understand now. The humans sing with many voices but one harmony. This is what the galaxy needs. Admiral Winters smiled at Olivia. I think we just saved the galaxy with a song. Not yet, she replied. The hardest part is still ahead. Getting 17 logical species and one musical hive mind to agree on a peace treaty. But for the first time since the crisis began, there was hope. The sound of war that humans had brought to the Galactic Council was being transformed into something new, the music of peace. 3 months after the first meeting with Herald Prime, the galaxy had changed forever. The massive Herald mothership now orbited Proxima Centauri station peacefully. What had once been the greatest threat to the Council was becoming its newest. Member. Admiral Ryan Winters stood in the newly redesigned council chamber. The old formal thrones were gone, replaced by seating that allowed all species to face each other as equals. A large open space in the center was designed for the herald representatives, who preferred to float freely rather than be confined to one spot. Ready? Asked Olivia, joining him. She wore a formal blue dress with symbols of both Earth and the Council. Ryan nodded. As ready as I'll ever be to sign a peace treaty with beings we were fighting 3 months ago. The ceremony was being broadcast to every Council world and to Earth. President Alan Foster would be watching from the White House, along with billions of humans who still couldn't quite believe what had happened. Supreme Counselor Vax entered, first followed by representatives of all 17 Council species. Then came Herald Prime, its body shifting and shimmering like a living aurora. Sound waves rippled from it, creating what humans now recognized as a formal greeting melody. High Counselor Ziv had been chosen to speak first. Today marks a new beginning for all intelligent life in our galaxy, he said. For too long, the Council has valued order above all else. We believed this was the only path to peace. He gestured toward the humans. Earth has shown us another way. They brought with them something we had forgotten. The beauty of controlled chaos. The strength that comes from embracing differences rather than eliminating them. Herald Prime's translator converted its song into words all could understand. For 5,000 years we saw only threat in your order. Now we see possibility, if balance exists between pattern and freedom. Ryan stepped forward to sign the treaty on behalf of Earth. The document was unlike any other peace agreement in human history. It wasn't just about ending hostilities. It created an entirely new structure for the Council. Under the new agreement, the Council would have 3 branches. the traditional logical order branch that had existed for millennia, a new creative, diversity branch led by humans and heralds, and a balance branch with representatives from all species who would ensure neither approach dominated. As Ryan's pen touched the document, music began to play throughout the station. It wasn't human music or herald songs, but something new, a grand symphony combining elements from all 19 species, including musical traditions that council races had almost forgotten. The composer, a young human named Peter Dale, had worked with musicians and sound creators from every species. They called the piece simply Harmony, and it told the story of conflict, misunderstanding, and finally unity. After the ceremony, there was a celebration unlike anything the council had ever permitted before. Logical order gave way to joyful chaos as beings who had once feared each other now shared food, drink, and most importantly, music. Captain Lisa Morgan of the Audacity found Admiral Winters watching the festivities from a quiet corner. Her ship had been repaired after the battle at Bellerophon, and she and her crew were now considered heroes throughout council space. "Quite a change from when we first met the Zephyrians," she said. Ryan smiled. "We came to the stars ready for war because that's all we've known, but we brought something else with us too." "Music," Lisa said. "More than that. The knowledge that after discord comes harmony, that differences can make us stronger, not weaker." Across the room, Dr. Grant was deep in conversation with Harold, Prime. Over the past months, she had learned more about Herald language and culture than anyone thought possible. The translator devices were becoming less necessary as she began to understand their musical speech directly. "They're offering to help us improve our space travel technology," she told Ryan when she joined them later. "They can show us how to reach other galaxies within a human lifetime." "In exchange for what?" Ryan asked cautiously. "More music," Olivia said with a smile. "They're particularly fond of jazz. The improvisation speaks to them on a deep level." 6 months later, President Foster stood before the United Nations on Earth. Representatives from the Council and the Heralds floated beside him on the stage. "The galaxy we have joined is not the one we expected," he told the assembled nations. "We prepared for conflict but found opportunity. We thought our war songs would mark us as dangerous. Instead, they helped us save civilization." He gestured to the Herald representative, who created a beautiful pattern of sounds that the translator converted. "Humans understand what many forget, that true harmony requires different notes played together, not the same note repeated." Proxima Centauri Station, the human embassy had become the center of a cultural revolution. Council species that had suppressed their artistic traditions for millennia were rediscovering them. Young aliens came to study Earth music, art, and literature, while human students learned the mathematical precision that had made Council technology so advanced. Admiral Winters had been appointed as Earth's first permanent representative to the Council. In his new office, he met with Captain Joe Reeves, now promoted to command his own ship, the Harmony. "Your first assignment as captain is ready," Ryan said, handing Joe a data pad. "You'll be taking scientists from Earth and the Council to study the Herald homeworld. They've never invited outsiders before." Joe looked surprised. "Why me?" "Because your idea to communicate through music is what made peace possible," Ryan explained. "The Heralds requested you specifically." As the Harmony prepared for its historic journey, Dr. Grant joined the crew as the chief science officer. Her understanding of Herald communication had made her the natural choice to lead the research team. Before they departed, Supreme Counselor Vax visited the ship. The ancient alien had seen countless changes in his long life, but none as significant as those of the past year. "When we first detected your broadcast from Earth, we feared what we heard," he told Olivia. "Your battle songs, your stories of conflict, they seem to mark you as dangerously unpredictable." "And now?" she asked. "Now we understand that creativity requires unpredictability. You taught us that harmony doesn't mean everyone must play the same note." As the Harmony left the station, bound for regions of space no council ship had visited in 5,000 years, it broadcast a new symphony, one created by composers from all 19 species, including the newest members of the Galactic Council, humans and heralds. President Foster later remarked in his address to the first graduating class of the Galactic Academy on Earth, "We came to the stars ready for war because that's all we've known. But we brought something else with us too, the knowledge that after every war comes peace, after discord comes harmony. Perhaps that's humanity's true gift to the galaxy." And throughout Council space, the sound of war that humans had brought with them had transformed into something greater, the music of peace, the song of harmony, the symphony of stars.